There's a moment in the first episode of Ben 10 where Vilgax says he will come to Earth and take the Omnitrix.
You cannot run. You cannot hide from me. I will find you. And when I do, I will retrieve my Omnitrix.
And every viewer hears it as a supervillain's opening threat. It was not a threat. It was the most accurate galactic threat assessment ever spoken on the show. And not one person on Earth actually listened. The Omnitrix is not a wristwatch. It is not a superhero gadget. It is a portable library of the genetic blueprint of nearly every sapient species in the universe.
Who are you? I am Vilgax, and I have come for the Omnitrix.
Vilgax's own producers called him Darth Vader without a sense of humor. His job for centuries was to identify weapons of mass destruction and secure them. The Omnitrix was the biggest one he had ever seen, and it was on a 10-year-old boy in Ohio. Vilgax saw something nobody on Earth could see. Not because he was more moral than Ben. He was a conqueror who had destroyed 5 worlds and eradicated an entire system. Vilgax was the only being in the universe who treated the Omnitrix as what it actually was from the first frame of the show. A weapon. Ben treated it as a superhero watch. Azimuth treated it as a legacy project.
You are a fool.
You don't hear me arguing.
The Omnitrix wasn't intended for you.
The Plumbers treated it as a family heirloom. Vilgax was the only entity in the entire franchise who correctly identified it as an object designed for mass conquest that had ended up on a child's wrist by mistake. Over the next 10 minutes, you are going to see every warning Vilgax gave, every time Earth ignored him, and every time the evidence proved him right. To understand what Vilgax was right about, you have to understand what he fundamentally is. He is not a hero. He is not a moral figure. He is a chimera sui generis warlord who is exiled from his own homeworld for what the records called ambitious disobedience. He was too aggressive even for a species of natural conquerors. The only thing Vilgax has is a track record. He has conquered 10 worlds. He has eradicated 5 more. He is the most wanted criminal in the Plumbers database. Even his own citizens will not publicly say whether he is a hero or a monster. He fought Max Tennyson personally before the show began. Max, then a young plumber, strapped him to a nuclear warhead and launched him into his own ship. Vilgax survived. Vilgax remembered. Vilgax specifically identified Max as his greatest enemy, before Ben Tennyson had even been born. That is the man watching the Omnitrix leave Azimuth's laboratory. Vilgax knew Max. He had already fought Max. He knew the Plumbers had the training to handle a portable species library on Earth, and Vilgax intercepted the delivery ship anyway. He fired on Xylene. He forced her to jettison the Omnitrix early. The pod was programmed to land on Max Tennyson. It missed. It landed on Ben. Read that again. The most powerful object in the universe was on a corrected trajectory to a trained plumber.
The Omnitrix wasn't intended for you. It was intended for your grandfather.
Vilgax's attack knocked the delivery pod off course. The pod hit Ben by accident. Vilgax's crusade is the reason Ben Tennyson ever put on the watch in the first place, and he has spent every appearance since then trying to fix a mistake he created. That is not a mustache-twirling villain. That is a warlord haunted by his own opening move. Vilgax said this in 5 different ways across 4 series. Ben heard it as, "This squid-face guy really wants my watch." Ben never understood the difference. The logic seemed obvious from where Ben was standing. I keep saving people. I keep winning. The Omnitrix works for good in my hands. Why does a warlord get to tell me the weapon on my wrist is a problem? That logic is completely backwards. Weapons do not care about intent. The Omnitrix has the same destructive potential in Ben's hands that it has in Vilgax. Ben was assessing the wielder. Vilgax was assessing the object. Vilgax was correct about the object. Now here is the part that should genuinely hurt. Across the run of the franchise, Vilgax's threat assessment is validated by canonical events on 9 separate occasions. 9 times he warned Earth about something, or acted on something, and the evidence later confirmed it. Go back and check. He was right 9 times out of 9. 1. The Omnitrix is a portable weapon of mass destruction. Vilgax said this in the first season. Ben treated it as arrogance. In the final battle, Ben used the self-destruct as a bluff, and it detonated. The device was always a bomb. 2. Earth cannot defend the Omnitrix. Vilgax breached security repeatedly. Ben's identity leaked publicly by alien force. Every villain in the galaxy learned Earth was harboring an unsecured genocide device. 3. Ben will attract every cosmic threat to Earth. Confirmed. Aggressor, Diagon, Malware, Hybrid, the Rooters. Every cosmic tier antagonist arrived on Earth because the Omnitrix was there. 4. Ghost Freak is a real threat.
Vilgax, back for more.
This time you will die, ectoneurite scum!
Vilgax released Zez Scare, trying to learn Omnitrix secrets. Ghost Freak immediately possessed most of Vilgaxia. Even Vilgax's mistake proved the point. The Omnitrix contained horrors that needed to be secured. 5. The Master Control unlocking would be catastrophic. Vilgax attempted it in the final battle. Azimuth locked it specifically because Vilgax was right about that. 6. Ben will become a warlord. Ben 10,000 is canonically president of Earth. Future Ben tore Vilgax to pieces when Ben was 15. Ben personally dismembered a sapient being. Vilgax's assessment that this child would grow into someone dangerous was correct within the show's own canon. 7. The Galactic Code exists for a reason.
By a hero's challenge. Fight me one-on-one for the Earth.
In Omniverse, Vilgax followed it. He fought Ben as a legal champion. Earth had no equivalent legal framework. Vilgax was operating under interstellar law. Ben was operating under improvised heroism. 8. No planet should hold the Omnitrix without oversight. Vilgax spent his career trying to enforce this. Every catastrophe on the show is a consequence of Earth having no oversight of what Ben was doing. 9. Vilgax's homeworld was worth saving. In Ghost Town, Vilgax defended Vilgaxia against Ghost Freak's invasion. He put his life on the line for his people. The warlord had a homeworld he genuinely loved and led. 9 times. 9 right calls. 0 wrong ones. Earth's response was never to update its assessment. They kept treating him as a mustache-twirling villain and trusting that Ben would win one more time. As a child watching Ben 10, you see Vilgax as the difficult one, the squid-faced menace, the obvious final boss. As an adult, you re-watch those exact same scenes, and you realize something. Ben was fighting. Vilgax was calculating. Those are 2 completely different activities. Now let's talk about the moment in this story that nobody talks about. Ghost Town. Vilgax has already been defeated once. He is desperate for intel on the Omnitrix. He releases Ghost Freak from imprisonment in exchange for the location of Primus, the source of the Omnitrix's alien DNA. Ghost Freak betrays him instantly. Ziz's Scare and his Ectonorite Legion invade Vilgaxia. Vilgax's people are being turned into slaves. His planet is falling. And Vilgax, the most dangerous being in the universe, goes to Ben Tennyson. Not to fight, to ask for help. Read that again. The main villain of the franchise walks up to the 10-year-old wearing the watch he has been trying to steal and asks him to help save his people. And Ben says yes. For the length of one episode, Vilgax and Ben fight on the same side. They defeat Ghost Freak together. Vilgaxia is saved. This is not a plot twist. This is Vilgax on the record, admitting the Omnitrix is necessary against cosmic horror threats. And Ben, on the record admitting Vilgax's homeworld is worth saving. Both of them just endorsed the other's position. Both of them dropped it the moment the episode ended. If Vilgax and Ben agreed, even for one episode, the entire framing of the franchise fell apart. Vilgax could not be the pure villain anymore. Ben could not be the pure hero. So Alien Force started, Vilgax was recast as a pure villain again, and Ben never mentioned that he had once helped save Vilgaxia. The show quietly pretended it never happened, but it did. It is on the tape. Now, do not stop here. There is a version of this argument more uncomfortable than Ghost Town, and it is about who Vilgax attacked in the first place. He attacked Xylene, who was delivering the Omnitrix to Max Tennyson. Max was the intended wielder. Vilgax had fought Max personally decades earlier. He fired on Xylene's ship specifically to prevent that delivery. His attack knocked the delivery pod off Max's DNA signature. The pod landed on Ben, a 10-year-old boy who had never trained, who had never met Azimuth, who had no idea what a chimera sui generis was, put on the most dangerous weapon in the universe, because Vilgax's own ship redirected the delivery. Vilgax spent the rest of his life fighting a mistake he made in the pilot episode. Every appearance after that was Vilgax trying to remove the Omnitrix from a child. Every alliance with Albedo, or Ghost Freak, or Aggressor, every kidnapping, every planetary siege. All of it was Vilgax trying to correct the misdelivery he caused. Here is what nobody wants to say out loud. If Vilgax had never attacked Xylene, Max Tennyson would have received the Omnitrix. There would be no galactic incidents, no Ghost Freak escape, no hybrid invasion, no Diagon incursion, because a trained plumber would have quietly used a weapon and secured it in a vault. Vilgax was right. Ben should never have had the Omnitrix. And the reason Ben had the Omnitrix was Vilgax. So what was Vilgax's framework? It was not moral. He is a conqueror. He is guilty of every crime a sentient being can commit. It was not sentimental. Vilgax did not care about Earth's opinion of him. The framework was threat assessment over intent. Look at the object. Assess what it can do. Neutralize it before someone weaker than you needs to. Vilgax knew the Omnitrix could conquer the galaxy because he had already planned to use it to do exactly that. He was projecting his own intentions onto every possible future wielder, and he was correct. Ben treated the Omnitrix as an extension of his character. Vilgax treated it as a weapon regardless of character. Only one of those approaches survives contact with a bad actor. When Vilgax finally got the Omnitrix at the end of the final battle, he did not gloat. He immediately began equipping his Bioids army. He started executing the plan he had been telegraphing since episode 1. The most dangerous being in the universe had just seized the most dangerous object in the universe, and he was working. Vilgax is not a chaotic threat. He is a scheduled one. Vilgax keeps coming back. Not because Ben earned his hatred, not because Earth apologized, because the threat has never been resolved. The Omnitrix is still on Ben's wrist. Vilgax's original assessment has never been retracted. Every season is another audit of the same thesis. The child has the weapon. The child should not have the weapon. Somebody has to take it back. Go back and find every scene where Vilgax appears without Ben. Every moment he is on his own ship, ruling his own planet, being obeyed by his own people. He is not just a villain. He is a head of state. And the head of state has correctly identified that the neighboring planet is harboring a genocide device on a child's wrist. Here is the thing about being Vilgax. You are the only person in the universe who has already tried to build an army of shape-shifting soldiers. You know what the Omnitrix can do because you already had the design. Every catastrophe it causes is one you predicted. Ben had a family, a summer road trip, and a device he did not understand. Vilgax had 5 destroyed worlds, 1 destroyed system, and the intellectual honesty to know exactly what the Omnitrix was for. That is not villainy. That is the only correct threat assessment in the entire show. Power is not the same as morality. A 10-year-old with a weapon of mass destruction is not safer because his intentions are good. Intentions do not disarm a bomb. Vilgax was not the obstacle to Ben becoming a hero. He was the only being in the universe who had accurately named the object on Ben's wrist. He was right every single time, across 9 major decisions, across 4 series. The show, the team, the galaxy dismissed him every time. Nobody listened. And the part that should genuinely keep you up at night, the rest of the galaxy knew. Not one planetary government ever intervened to protect Earth from Vilgax. Not one interstellar coalition arrived to defend Earth from a warlord's invasion. Because the galaxy had already made the calculation Vilgax was making. Earth was harboring a menace. Vilgax was doing everyone else's job. If you want to understand Ben 10, genuinely understand it, forget the transformations. Forget the catchphrases. Ask yourself one question instead. Who in that universe correctly identified the object on Ben's wrist from the first frame and spent the rest of the franchise trying to remove it before it ended a solar system? That is your answer.